Hey, family. Family. Hey, Baltimore. Baltimore. Baltimore City. Baltimore City. Baltimore City. Baltimore City. Y'all know it's Saturday, right? BMore's Real Team Talk Show. BMore's Real Team Talk Show. Now, I want to say this because if I pronounce his name wrong, family, please forgive me. I know the last name is Wiley. Kohen. Kohen. Or Cowan. Right? Kohen. The young man, the baby, that the officer unalived for TikTok's sake. I read up on it a little bit. Okay? Because one thing, when I open up my mouth, I'm not like a lot of y'all. As a human rights advocate, as a community activist, as a community organizer, as a person that that does a live streaming talk show. I just don't stream with TikTok. For a person that does that, I have to make sure, to the best of my human abilities, that the information that I put out is basically correct. And forgive me for getting a little loud, okay? Because I know y'all get offended. But yeah, I have to make sure that when I open up my mouth, I'm not just talking. Well, I try not to do a lot of the he said, she said. But what I will do, and I'm going to share this with y'all before we actually get into a conversation, period. I will do a fact check. I will reach out to AI or Chat GBT. They can only give you as much information that's put in the system. For y'all that don't really understand what's what. But fact check has its own investigation team that goes out to check this stuff before they give out the information. Not just fact check, Snoop does the same. Reddit does the same, but Reddit, from what I read up, is not as credible as like the fact checkers or Snoop, because they use human beings to go out and gather the information that they tend to put out. They're reporters, they're journalists, they're investigators. And the reason why I'm saying that, family, as a human rights advocate, as a community organizer, as a person that's in the community, sometimes I have to go out and investigate things basically for myself. That's why when y'all hear me talk about being a part of the community, right? Getting involved in your community, knowing who the people is in the House of Delegates, knowing who the people is in your council members, knowing your council members, then your mayor, then from that your senator, then your congressman, and then you have, come on, Steve, trying to get the brain together, and then you have the Black Caucus. So I'm only saying this to a lot of y'all that loves doing your research and searching up information just to be able to have a conversation. All that's fine and dandy. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But you got some of us that's actually on the ground. This is my way. The Couch Talk Show. This is my way of feeding information. I got Mackenzie Frost from Fox 45 News number right in my phone. I got Ivan Bates number right in my phone. Brandon Scott, I call my nephew. I'm just not connected with him on social media. His wife too. Antonio Glover. James Torrance. These are political figures I'm talking about. Council members. Kwaisi. These are people, they are politicians. Bishop Jerome Stokes, that's my pastor. Dr. Hathaway. Thomas. I'm in a mega church, so we deal with other mega churches. So when I open up my mouth, family, I'm coming with some type of information firsthand, you know what I mean? Rather it's based on religion, rather it's based around political conversations, rather it's based around civil rights issues, the constitutional rights. What it says, the Couch / BMore Team Talk Show. This is not your regular sloppy, let me go up here and cause some chaos and confusion platform. Not him. Not him. Keep moving it. If you want to go on somebody's platform, yell and scream and all of that and show your psychological issues, do what you got to do. But not over here. I tell y'all, I sponsor men and women. If you don't know what a recovering addict is, I have the working knowledge of the 12 steps and the 12 traditions. I go inside of myself to do the necessary work on myself. And if I feel as though I need to talk with a therapist or a psychiatrist, normally if you're talking with a psychiatrist, she's going to medicate you. Okay? So it's normally a therapist. Already know what it is to have a men peer support group, because I talk with men. Already know what it is to help women with children to put their life in order. When I sit down with women with children, you think I'm going to tell her, well, girl, why you went and had 5 babies by 5 different men? That don't make no sense. She already feeling bad because she got to raise 5 children by herself. Y'all will do it. I ain't going to do it because I already know her predicament. And the sad part about it, I look at us, the men, right? You ain't taking care of your children. You're allowing her to do everything by herself, but you're a man. Where? But you call yourself a man. But you ain't taking care of your responsibilities. Come on. Now can you understand why I talk the way I do? Well, see, gentlemen, you got children, and it's your responsibility to take care of your children. Okay? Y'all been there punch me in my mouth. Bro, who you think you talking? Boy, get away from me. So I gotta buck up on y'all as an OG. I gotta come in. People like, why are you so loud? Because you want me to shut up so you can lower it down so you can take advantage of me, right? Huh? because I'm proud and boldful. People always say that, family. They be like, why are you yelling? Because I got a big mouth. Why are you yelling? Because I got a big mouth. What part of that did you miss? I speak very, very, very loud. Well, I don't. I'm not you. That's what you need to realize. He's not you. And he is a very boisterous man. That's all he's saying. Well, why are you loud? I be like, get away from me. Why you got a big mouth? Get away. It's not personal. That's what I be thinking sometimes when people say that. Why are you loud? Did you hear me say my mouth is my biggest weapon for the body of Christ? Huh? Did you hear me say my mouth is the biggest weapon for the body of Christ? This is a spiritual journey for me. All right, OG, I got you. This is a spiritual journey for me. You see me put up there my 12 that purchase program, and it flies right over your head. Pay attention to people prompts. Pay attention. Look what this prompt say right here. What it says. All right. Now, my heart goes out to the family. I want to make this real clear. My heart goes out to the family, to the mother, to the father, to the family, period, of this young baby. I'm going to talk about certain things because it's not about the child now. My thing is, what was the police officer's issue? What was the police officer's psychological and mental state? Do y'all do stuff like that? So let me show y'all this. That's why I say I'm not like y'all. I looked up why was the police called, so you can at least get a little understanding of what's happening, right? It was the allegations that they supposed to stole a box of Pampers. Another thing I asked, where was Walmart security guards at? Because normally it's security that will talk with you and double check everything, like your receipts. They normally have somebody standing there, so when you walking out like with a box or something along that line, you show them your receipt, whatever can't get in the bag. Tell me I'm lying. That was, see, this is stuff. Excuse me, fam, I'm drinking my Diet Pepsi, and it give me the burpees. This is some of the stuff that my investigative mind go into. You get me? I don't know about y'all. But if the same things happen here in Baltimore City, and I wanted to go to the Walmart to see what's what, I will go there and announce myself and let them know why I'm there. How many of y'all do that? So I can get a better understanding of what happened, what's going on, so I can at least put the word back out. Now, they showed me with the officer, right? They sent me some information to show me the process of letting him go. Mainly if he's found guilty, because the police can't back him now. Not only that, only because when I put in information and talking with AI or Chat GBT, I tells them who I am and what I do here in Baltimore City, so they have a better understanding of who they talking with, or the computer itself. Because now they're throwing everything with Steve Copeland doing Baltimore City as a human rights advocate, as a civil rights advocate. And they know now I'm looking at it from a grassroots level, not just a grassroots level, but I'm looking at it from the rights of a community activist, from the standpoint. Because now we want to know, what rights did he violate with this child? Now, right here, it talks about the civil rights strategy, right? Number one, let me go back to the first one. The legal bar for charging, the legal bar for charging the officer. In cases like this, the prosecutor will look at whether the officer's action met the standard of objective, reasonable, and under the law. That's where their investigation come from internal affairs and all that, right? And I'm gonna tell y'all something too. If the young lady was driving the car towards him, did he jump in the street in front of the car? That basically could have, caused injuries towards him. Because if he did, that was a no-no. If the surveillance and body camera footage shows the officer stepped in front of the vehicle to block it, or if the car was moving at a slow speed, consistent with backing out, the officer could face severe criminal charges ranging from manslaughter to second degree. Because basically what it's saying, once they check everything out, if he had put himself in danger to do what he did, to have an excuse, you get me? This is what it's saying. Then it goes on to tell me in Mississippi, the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation handles these shootings independently, or pew-pews for TikTok's sake, independently, to avoid local police covered up, because that was something I was concerned about myself, right? The cover-ups, because the police department will try to cover certain things up. And the case will eventually be presented to a grand jury to decide. See, I ask information. I'm going to ask for information. That's why I said I'm not like a lot of y'all. As a person who fights for people's civil rights, equal rights, and constitutional rights, you got to make sure that your stuff is in order, or at least you kind of understand what's what, right? Thank you for me. That dropped my heart for me. So I'm just saying this to y'all, family, as an organizer, as a community activist, as a human rights advocate, be honest with y'all, then I go into my civil rights mode. So it's like my hat shift. You get me? So now I'm doing what I do. This is what I do. It's like investigating certain things, family. That's all I'm trying to get to with y'all. This is what I do. It's like, now I'm investigative mode. I'm telling y'all, it's certain things that happen in Baltimore City. And I'm telling y'all, I will walk up to the scene myself. And I always introduce myself like to the commander, chief, whoever that's out there, the lieutenant, the ones that's in the white shirt. I go up to them, Steve Copeland, blah, blah, blah. You know, I let them know who I am, why I'm here, stuff like that, right? And they once, and then I'll show them a card or something just to let them know. So they know anyway. They feed me as much as they can. That's all I'm trying to get to. I'm talking about the police department. They give me as much as they can. Right? They're allowed. Because I am considered as a journalist, a reporter. So, and I'm trying to get your name back, Queen. That's why I had to look into it, and I want to share this with y'all too. Giovanni Patterson with the school system in Baltimore for them not properly educating our black young men. Javon Patterson and the organization or the people that he's working with, they came together and they sued the school system. And Ben Crump came out. Now, I spoke out on it. I was asked to come and speak. See for me, that's what we was talking about. They aren't properly educating our children, well, black young men. But I found out for me, talking to, now I'm looking at the black young men. I'm looking at our young men. But it was a lady that told me the curriculums that they give them or how they teach them now, they're not meeting it. So she's right. She's right. And they will pass you on. Just like she said, why do they graduate at high school with a fourth grade reading or math education? You know why I spoke out on that for me? Thank you, Queen, for putting that there. I came out of school in the 10th grade. So the last grade I completed was the 9th. Like you said, for me. And I realized my vocabulary is limited. But one thing about me, I'm not no dumb dude, you get me? But my vocabulary is limited. So that's why when she put up there, they graduating from a 4th grade level, I tell people, for me, I had to start speaking in layman terms. I said a lot of times when I talk from a 5th grade level. And if you don't get it, look for me, I be picking though. I be picking. Look, I say it right because I understand how important education is. When my son graduated from high school, I felt like that was me. And then he went to college. I ain't even talking about my daughters. But y'all know how that felt for me. As he graduated, I felt like that was me. But see, the thing with me, family, keep in mind, I got some deep street smarts. Y'all don't know that's what I use to play their damn games with them. For me, watch this. Dangerfield, try me. I can sit down with the best of them, try me. Because you know bull junk recognize bull junk. You get it? When you real. When you real. I already know, family, if I step up in the room with Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and all of them, I know if I step up in the room, they're going to turn around and be like, who's that right there? Because it's the way I will present myself. I'm 6'1", but I will stand like I'm 6'8". That's called courage and confidence within yourself. It ain't about your money. And then y'all know I got to get my teeth right. I got to get my teeth. So I can look, so I can look more prettier. Muhammad, so look, I got to get my hair. I got to get. But I'm going to tell y'all, I dress my tail off. And it's not real expensive stuff. That's why I know when I step up in the room with them turkeys, Punter, Gordon, when I step up in the room with them, I step up. Because basically all of them wear just about the same things. I thought I did. Wait a minute, wait. OG, hold up. OG, let me see now. Try now. Look, I'm gonna show you something. I had this up there. That's why. So whoever tried to come up, you have to let them up because I'm doing this. All right. And once it's on here, I can't touch the rest. Oh, let me make sure I got this up, OG. Oh, I hear you now, and I'm sorry. I apologize. If anybody requests to come up, bring them up, OG. Because I have this right here, and it's not going to let... I have to move it in order to bring them. The tapper.
Oh, I know.
All right. Okay, thank you. But now, I sent this prompt to OG last night, too, because I wanted him to kind of look up as much as he can so we can talk a little bit about it. But now, it's not as much as the baby, right? Because it's the actions of the popo. My biggest thing was, and I'm going to tell y'all, he have a hell of a background, too. Look, and I'm talking about with people. He has a hell of a background. Wait a minute. But that OG, what's up, bro? How you been today? All right. Now, I'm just sharing this with y'all, right? Because once I got his name, I looked up about the officer's behaviors and other things, right? Have anybody made any complaints about it? Right? He was forced. It's a forced resignation for misconduct at one spot. Then it talks about brutality and excessive force allegations. Recent internal complaint for racial slurs. Now, the reason why I wanted to check more on his attitude or his behavior psychologically, AI, which I already know, that medically, your psychological treatment is held by HIPAA law. HIPAA law, they can't disclose it. That's all I'm trying to get to, fam. Because I asked, did he have any psychological issues? Now, mind you, I'm not looking at the person with the uniform. I'm looking at the individual as a whole. That's our problem. We see the badge, we see the pew-pew, right? But it's that individual that I'm more concerned about. Your personality, your character, your attitude. Now, it could be childhood issues of being bullied and being hurt. So you're looking to take it out on other people. And this is why, not all now, some become polices where they can take things back out on the population. What was done to them. So I wanted to know, was he one of those types? So this kind of helped me understand that, yes, charges had already been filed against him. He was fired from one police station and he was able to go to another one. That's how the police cover stuff up. That's why, y'all, I say when I do what I do, Be honest with y'all, I'm damn good at what I do. as a human rights advocate, as a community activist.
Yes. My thing is why would another police department hire someone like him in the first place?
Well, because they covered they in a sense. Now this is public right here, though. That's sad because you're right. See, thank you, OG. Thank you. No, because I'm getting ready to come back off of what he said. Thank you, OG. Because my thing is, if you know you got somebody that has a very, very, very destructive behavior, why would you send them back out there to deal with public? So now this where I went at years ago, OG, to help continue destroying. Send them back out there. OG, you heard what I said? Somebody asked to come up. The same way with reoffenders. If you have not properly educated them to get rid of that thinking right there, they're going to come home and keep practicing the same things. Then you let them go again. They're going to go back out and do it again. Now, I got to watch my words, OG. I got to watch the way I word this, and I want y'all.
But what I'm saying is, how many more times are these cops going to be able to go back and forth from different departments knowing their track record? This is bullshit.
I think they sent.
It doesn't make no sense.
Right.
Number one, he should have been suspended. Number two,
should have been gone.
And number three, he should have never been able to be hired as a cop ever again. So what made this company, this police department decide to hire this idiot?
Now look what OG saying. Now watch this right here, OG. It says forced resignation for misconduct. Public petition and local advocates indicated that, I ain't gonna say his name, has a history in law enforcement where he was allegedly forced to resign. Listen what OG just said. They basically told him, they didn't fire him, OG. Because he had to resign, he was able to go somewhere else. They forced him to resign. I had to clear that one up.
Even when a cop gets fired, they're still able to go to another spot.
You know what? I didn't look that up. That's a good one.
No,
that's a good one.
Look it up. I guarantee you that's what happens. If a police department fires another officer, that officer goes to another department and goes to work. I swear to God, I've seen it happen. And it's not fair.
You're right.
As corrupt as these cops are, they're still getting away with whatever they can get away with.
And see, that's what makes me wonder, right? And I'm talking about the commission and all of that. Why do y'all keep bringing them back in? And it makes me wonder if it's a setup to just take people out. Now, I want to say this. Please follow me. I remember at one point when it was YT dressing up, looking like melanated people and taking melanated people out. I watched how we start taking ourselves out more. They backed up. And that I begin to see that change. But see, I have to watch the way I put it because I shared about this years ago, but I'm on Facebook talking about this. Now that we are taking ourselves out more, they like, we ain't gotta worry about it. And that's what I started realizing, OG. And as a result of that, that's why I joined certain, organizations or programs that's trying to reduce a lot of this. Because when I look at us, and I said this before, OG, where the freak is they getting all this stuff from? The pew-pews and all that. And not only the pew-pews, they are carrying around them long ones now Look like the soldiers be carrying. I'm like, what in the world? Where they getting this goddamn? I'm telling you, when I see them like that, OG, when, cause look, I'm thinking about OG. You know I'm old, cause I'm thinking about when we was younger, right? It wasn't that easy to get one. It was people bringing them in, you know, doing what they were doing. But now when I see them army looking ones and stuff like that, I'm like, where they get that? But I already know, and keep in mind, OG, and you can back this up. As a truck driver, I know how stuff is transported. As a person that pick up from the docks with containers, I know how stuff is being transported. You get me? Trains. So it's coming. Buses. It's coming. And the reason why I can say that, OG, because I drove, by me driving tractor trailers and containers and stuff, we used to go to certain places. The DEA is already in it and gonna check that because they know what's coming. So basically what I'm saying is, if it's, I don't want to say illegal stuff, but that one too. But if it's legal stuff, and I'm talking about, I gotta go to this one, OG, a pharmaceutical, because I deliver to a lot of pharmaceuticals too. And believe me, if that pallet was busted in any kind of way, they came out the back. I ain't touch it. I'm just delivering it. OG. That's what I used to have to tell them. This was like this when I picked it up from the dock. So if somebody took something off it, OG, it was not me. So when it came to certain areas like that, where say I'm looking at more like the government facilities, because of my background, I was able to go into a lot of the warehouses and stuff like that. Because I passed the clearance, right? So I was able to go on like Air Force bases. Now I can not now since 9/11, but at one point I could go on the Air Force base and I traveled through it by myself. And the plane, the look, I'm trying to think our plane, right? The president plane could be sitting right there. I was about this close to it. I would have to walk a little further to touch it, right? But I was just that close. And then as 9/11 came, I was riding through DC one day, OG, and got real close to the White House. And the guy jumped out with the boom, 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 soldier. I'm like, hey, I'm just, but I didn't know that tractor trailers can't travel so far around there. So what we had to do, they had to start using box trucks, and mostly private, you know, people that own box truck will come and get the deliveries for DC and they're part of it. But I did DC for a long time, and I'm only sharing it with y'all family because I'm looking at the legal system as a whole. I'm looking at, you know, thank God I don't have a criminal background where I can't get like hazmat, right? Now, it's certain things I might have to clean up now because of the bull to make it look pretty good. But still, I was able to pass background checks. So I can get on army bases. I can get into like where the warehouse for the White House might be, or say like what is that other spot? The defense spot, right? The Pentagon, wherever their warehouse is at. Because I used to do a lot in DC. I used to do a lot. So I can get into facilities, and because they had to do the background first, right? In order for me to come in. And a lot of the drivers didn't have hazmat on there, so they didn't have a background clearance, clearance. But I do. It's just right now, and I'm gonna get back to what OG was saying. That's why, OG, just like your soldiers deals with PTSD. Your cops deal with it too. Because they never know. Check this out. Whenever they approach me, I'm going to make you feel as comfortable as I can. Because I know within a few seconds, you don't know what might happen. And that's the same way I had to teach little Steve. Because sometimes they might be looking for ways and means to take you down. It was a police officer, OG, that stopped little Steve one time. Little Steve was speeding. He gave Steve 5 tickets in one. The moment little Steve said, Dad, he acted like he was mad about something. I went looking for him. It was some other police officers that little Steve played soccer with their sons that told me, Mr. Copeland, don't worry about it, we got you. We'll talk to him to let him know that that's not a bad kid right there. But the thing when Steve said it, OG, it scared me because number one, I know when they got personal issues going on with them and they come to work the next day, they look for people to take some of that mess out on because they justify their behaviors.
No, they don't know how to separate job from work or job from home. That's the whole thing. Sit your ass at home, take care of home, leave your problems at home when you bring your ass to work. Because once you come to work, it's a whole different situation. You got to pay attention to what the hell is going on. Fuck what's going on at home right now. You done left your shit at home. Leave it there. Don't bring your bullshit to us because you're having a bad day, so you want to take it out on the first colored person you see? No, that's not fair. That's not right. Get yourself some mental motherfucking help, and maybe you'll learn how to talk to people.
And that's the key. That's the key. So that's why, OG, whatever happens, right? And I'm going to say with our word, it could be a judge, it could be a prosecutor, it could be a daggone defender. I can say public defender, but a defense attorney. What I realized through what happened with me, all them suckers know each other. They work with each other. Maybe if you got a attorney that been in it for 20, 30, 15 years, something like that, and they familiar with the courts, they familiar with the judges, they know how they act, they know their attitudes about certain things. They all kind of know each other. But the thing is, like I told my daughter, when you become a lawyer, whatever you do, don't sell your clients out. I already know the challenge my daughter gonna go through. And I told her that. Because number one, you are presented with certain things. Either if you defending a client, and this is what I found out their job is, if you commit a crime and your defender, public, I don't know why I keep wanting to say public defender, but that one too. Their goal is to find you innocent or to help you get less time for the crime that you committed. That's their goal. The prosecutor goal is to nail you with whatever means necessary. Understand the difference between the two. But guess what? They all work together. Anytime I turned around and they wanted me to take a plea deal for something that I didn't do, and I told my lawyer, I said, why should I take a plea deal for something that I didn't do? Well, we know you didn't do this. We're not saying that you really that. And then my daughter kind of helped me understand it too. It was just to close it. But the thing is, when that prosecutor said out her mouth, Mr. Copeland, we know you didn't do this. We know you didn't do that. But you was guilty by association. And I looked over at her and I wanted to say so bad, why the hell y'all dragged me through all this? That's my personal experience. I want you to tell me what I did not see, what I did not witness. That's one of the reasons why I signed up for the Innocent Project, because I know how the police, with the paper and the pen, can set you up. The judge don't know if it's true. The prosecutor don't know if it's true. So they only going off of that information. I seen it with my own 2 eyes. Now, that's not in everybody's case, right? But I seen it for myself, and I'm like, y'all mother freaky suckers. And then y'all be like, I don't like the way he talk. I don't like the way he say this. But they know Steve real. I'm telling you, they know I'm real. They looking at me now. When I say they, I'm talking about our politicians, our lawmakers. They looking at me, and they know he real. It's just to convince y'all, but that was one of the reasons why they got rid of me, to shut my goddamn mouth. I received a phone call a couple of weeks before it happened, that they were shutting down a lot of community activists. I said, oh, Brandon Scott ain't gonna let nothing happen to me, blah, blah, blah. I was gone. But guess what? God wanted me to see that. He did. He wanted me to see. So when I open up my mouth and talk about the system, I can only share from what I witnessed and I experienced from the system. You cannot tell me no different. Even when it comes down to our correction officers. I was saying some stuff over there with them. So I had to let them know. Mess with me. Y'all remember Simon Wright, Wayne Wright, that became warden? That's my sponsor. Y'all remember Ralph Johnson, that wrote a book about the correction officers, the prison system? They say he wrote more than one book. I know he wrote a book. I know he wrote a book. I didn't know he wrote a couple of books. I said, mess with me. And the only reason why I'm saying that, because when you know somebody, that's all. And a lot of the inmates know this. I'm 61 years old, family. Out of everything I've done streetwise, never been to prison. And then I'm talking about how I used to come into prison for 10 years, encouraging and motivating and empowering our men, that when they come home about putting their lives together, the young men in there already know what OG was about. Because they listen to OG. And OG was able to tell them, I done this, I done that, so we was able to talk in that sense. But the thing was, they didn't want me to share no encouraging words with them. Because they know it's a revolving door. If you don't teach them, they're going to go out, do what they got to do, come back again, and guess what? That keep us at work, keep us with a job. You got to be in it to see it. Yup. You got to be in it to see it. I'm over there arguing with correction officers. And I say, y'all job, when people is not living right, is to correct their wrongs. No, they promoting the habits. Then I went into the hospital side of it, right? You got people there with mental disorders. No, they need meds. They wasn't giving it. There you go. That's just what she said. Their job is to correct their mindset. That's why they are called correction officers. They will come in the room sometimes, Mr. Copeland, can you please shut up? No, I won't. Blah, blah, blah. But then it got to the point, to be honest with y'all, people with some serious issues, they started sending near me. And we would sit there and talk. And the next minute I know somebody tell me, I'll put you in your mouth. I say, what? Boy, and I got this boot on my leg. You tell me what? I will beat you. But then guess what? I wasn't trying to do something to get charges on because I was there. It is. It is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And look, this is what I learned too, for me. American Disability Act. You heard, do you see what she just said? They supposed to help them. American Disability Act used to come out. I'm sorry. American Disability Act, ADA, used to come out once a week for any inmates that have complaints. The ACLU, I'm trying to think, they used to come out like once a month. Now, mind you, I'm a community activist. They would come to me and we would talk. But it got to the point for me, why am I going to say things to y'all if you're not really doing the work? You see what I'm saying? And then now I'm over in the hospital. I'm watching this YT walk through and his daughter. I knew who they was. I knew who they was. Because when you begin to understand the system. Now, guess what? The same hospital beds that they had in there, I had in my house, in my in my housing program. That's saying white people, YT. Well, wait a minute. What's a Y? YT. Sometimes they'll tag you for saying certain names. You gotta break it down. I even talked to for me. I even talked to the woman warden, because by this time I'm over there. My sponsor gone. He's a warden at another facility. But it was just good when you know people and throw their names out there like Ivan Bates, Brandon Scott. And I'm going to tell you too, the inmates, you throw your stuff out there about what you do and stuff like that, they can Google your information. They can look you up to see if you're serious. And then they be like, uh-oh, he a little bit different.
But then what I've heard, though, is most inmates already know what you're coming in for before you even get in there. And that's even scarier.
I don't know about that.
Oh, yeah, they know.
They know. Because I'm going to tell you this, OG, I found out too. Whatever your charge papers is, you better keep them on you. You better keep your charge papers on you. Because if you don't have your charge papers on you, they're going to think you got rid of it, right? Because you are a SAer. And they're going to come for you. And you better prove it to them that you're not. I came from one spot. I went to another spot. And I didn't bring my papers with me. Now, we kidding, we joking, we playing, right? And some young kids, because I said I had a housing program, they went into I'm doing this and I'm doing that. I'm like, man, y'all cut that out. So anyway, by me talking with a counselor, I was able to get my records. I mean, for what I was in there for, to show them. And after I showed it to them, for me, I felt legit. I'm like, yeah, I told y'all. Somebody want to come up, OG, I'm not gonna be able to hit that. So I felt legit. Once they seen my track record, for me, I was like, I told y'all. I still got all my paperwork, everything, because everything. From 3 years ago. These false charges. And then the same police that put 14 on me, when the judge let me out, he went and filed another one, breaking and entering. Getting in my own business and stuff, so they turned around and locked me back up. I said, wait a minute, what's going on? They had me all my stuff and then had to rearrest me. And I came home after that one. This what the police did. Why? I want to sit down with him and ask him, why the hell you do that to me? I do. Yup, there you go for me. I do. I want to ask him, because me and him used to talk. Then he gave my client, Candy, permission twice to knock down my back door to my housing program. I said, why would you do that? You gonna give him permission, then turn around and jump in your car. Say, do what you gotta do. So he went and kicked the back door down. Why you didn't arrest him for breaking and entering into my housing program? So I had to report him to his sergeant. Not once, but twice. The reports is there. No, I'm talking about one of my clients. For me, the officer thought that I was putting him out. No, because they're homeless people, and you don't want to put homeless people out to be homeless. I needed them to take him to go get put on meds. You know what I'm talking about, Candy. They wouldn't take him. I had to go twice, 3 times altogether, and fill out an emergency petition for him to get the proper help that he needed. It was the polices that didn't do their jobs. So they didn't just fail me, they failed the clients. And the same one I'm talking about, remember, Candy, when he threatened the police department. Police was out there. The SWAT team came. Remember, Candy? The SWAT team and all of them came because of him. They were scared of him. One of the lieutenants or colonels, somebody said, hey, Mr. Copeland, how you doing? He came right to me. Because they was telling him what was going on, and he knew who I was. And then it was this little Jeep thing came up. I knew they was the SWAT team. I said, y'all from SWAT, ain't y'all? Yep. And then look, for me, I'm talking with the police department. They steady telling me I don't follow, because of the type of program I had, I don't follow landlord-tenant laws. I don't do rental agreements because there's no guarantee they're gonna stay. So it's a 30-day verbal agreement. It's a 30-day. I can give you 30 days. I can give you 14 days. I can give you 7 days. I can give you 73 hours, 72 hours. I can tell you get out now. That's the type of program. So I did go down to the rental court. She was the one that helped me understand, Mr. Copley, you being harassed by the police. She was the one who gave me the paperwork to fill out for the emergency petition. Well, let me say this. The first time I went, it was a man judge that did the paperwork. The paperwork had to go to the police district for them to turn around and do their damn job. Then it was a second time. When I went down to court the second time, it was a female judge that told me, Mr. Copeland, you're not supposed to be here. Once you called them to get the necessary help that you wanted for the clients, they were supposed to have taken the client to get help. I said, I know. I read it up on their page. But I'm down at rental court talking to a judge. Then when I went the second time to this, the third time for the same individual. When I went the third time, she said it again. Mr. Copeland, you wasn't supposed to be. I said, I know. But the police is not doing their job and was telling me that the judge don't know what she's talking about. I said, okay. I read it up on y'all's site. But then I had to realize your street polices are not like your hazmat team. It's a team that they have that actually deals with people with behaviors like that anyway. And I learned that in the process too. But they already knew that my housing program, I got 2 houses. It's already in there that my clients are basically homeless people. And some of them have psychological issues. They had it in there on the wall. So that way, when they got a phone call to come to one of the houses, they knew why they was coming. But it was the street polices that kept giving me a problem. But I'm only saying this, right, because I'm looking at the system. I'm looking at how they are taught. I'm looking at how they are trained. And this is what the police told me, and they got mad at me because they told me the way they was trained now, if they don't see the crime with their own 2 eyes, there's nothing they can do. I said, what? If I don't see the crime with my own 2 eyes, there's nothing we can do. So I said, if a person unalive me, I gotta come back for them to unalive me again in front of you for you to help me. They got mad and ran. They got mad and ran off. They was like, he make me sick. He make me sick because it sounded so dumb. But look, this is the way the new cadets supposed to have been taught. But that's not true too. Because this officer and the young man that I supposed to had insulted, his niece was like an aunt to me, and she reached out to me and asked me, can I help her nephew? I said, sure. That was my nephew. I got him a job and everything. He quit the job. I let him stay there. He didn't have money to pay. He needed his phone paid. I paid the bill because that was like family. But the officer didn't know that you accused me of hurting somebody that was like a family to me. No. He ain't know. That's why I said I'm going to sue the shit out of Baltimore City and the Eastern District Police Department. Y'all know how much balls it took. I said, I'm going to let it go. I said, I'm going to let it go. So don't ever try to tell me about forgiveness. Don't ever tell me about acceptance. Don't ever try to tell me. Because I had to practice all that. Even though I talk about it. And don't you ever think, because a person might talk about something that happened in the past, that it's like Certain things is not beating them up today. It's just that you're able to talk about it and talk about the freedom that you had. That's why people need to listen closely. Listen with your spirit. Because a lot of times when you listen to people, you listen to them with this, you coming up with a goddamn on answer before they even finish. So it shows me you're not listening with your spirit. You listening to respond. See, I learned all of this. I learned how to do things as a sponsor. I learned how to do things as a father. I learned how to do things as a grandfather. But then you're going to tell a grandfather how to be a grandfather. You're going to tell a stepfather that raised two children that's not his how to be a stepfather. I ain't trying to be smart, fam, but that's what trips me out with a lot of y'all. That's why sometimes you got to listen. Listen. And okay. And I will never, ever, ever, ever shut my mouth because I know who called me to do this. I'd be like, God, well, please, decrease me and increase you, Lord. And God be like, Steve, who else can talk about you like you? Well, I'm going to find somebody else good. Because people are so busy talking about everybody else. So when I ask him to decrease me, I'm only asking him to give me the strength and the courage to be honest, like I always do. That's all. That's all. Who else am I going to be? Come on, Truth.
Yeah, no, I wanted to tell y'all. Remember that day that OG was kind of just going off the chain? He was all hype and everything, and I had joined. Do you remember?
That's almost every day.
You were really hot that day, boy. And then, I was on the panel with y'all, but then I ended up dropping off, right?
Oh, yeah, okay, I remember.
Yeah, so I wasn't hyped that day, but you had kind of got me hyped. And the reason why I dropped off was, man, because there was a dude at a gas station that had literally needed somebody to talk to. And since you had hyped me up, man, I was able to pass that blessing on to that guy, man, that day. And so I wanted to say thank you for that. I wouldn't have been ready. You know what I mean? If I wouldn't have been listening to you and catching that vibe and riding that train, man, that guy would have just been just as lost when I left too, man. But God put me in that moment for a second to really help that guy. And it was really, OG, I got the energy from you, bro.
And you know what? That's the beautiful part. Because we never know how he might use us. And that's why I was told don't pay a lot of attention to, I'm going to say stuff like the viewers and stuff like that, because you never know who listening, who watching, and who need to hear whatever you say out your mouth.
Yeah, that guy needed it that day, man. I was so glad when I turned around and even my wife called me, where you at? I know, I'm sorry. But no, man, that guy, man, he needed somebody. And, I wouldn't have had the money. I was already tired, y'all. And then when I got on and I was feeling that energy from OG, man, as soon as I, got out to get some gas, I walked inside and the guy just literally broke down. It was wild how it worked out, man. But OG, thank you. That guy thanks you probably too.
I'm not gonna say no name, but somebody had reached out to me, and they going through a lot. Matter of fact, they homeless, and I know, but they over near Ellicott City, and they trying to get back home, right? So they reached out to me, and I asked them how much was the bus ticket. I ended up sending them something towards the bus ticket, right? sometimes not being smart, I get tired of people asking me for stuff. Because a lot of times I got to go in my pocket. And I don't get back as much as I put out. But I ended up sending him something so he can go home. And I told him, good luck. Whether he was telling the truth or not, it doesn't matter. You get me, I'm true, because I don't know.
Absolutely,
it was just
man.
If you was able to help him, you help him.
I'm grateful for that because look, you know, even if they are telling a lie, that's on them from now on. You know, it don't have nothing to do with me at that point.
Right, and that's what my sponsor had put me on. I don't know whether individuals telling the truth or not, and whatever they say, the way he put it, you just believe what they saying is true. You might not really know, but you just believe what they saying is true. And if you don't, he said, basically, you the one with the trust issues. I said, God darn it. And it had me look at me.
And the way that you mentor a young man is the same way you do with a person that is incarcerated, because they're both going to need the same lesson to get all over again. They're going to have to be taught. So, I mean, it's no different being a mentor for a young person in jail than it is for a man to be a mentor for a man in jail. None.
And see, the same way, thanks, OG, because when you said that, it just made me look back at not just the men, but the women. And because I raised daughters, and I raised daughters to be very, 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 very independent, and they are. And that's how any woman that comes in my life, and I know mainly she got children, right? And I know no male is there helping her. So the goal is to fix it where she can financially take care of her kids by herself. Now, I want the man when he can to help. But if it's just the woman that I'm dealing with, because I deal with mothers and children, right? Financially, I need to make sure she's straight. First step, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. If she don't get a lot, it's to get her off the system, point blank. So if she come in my life and she said, Mr. Copeland, I want to go to nursing school, or I want to be a cosmetologist, I want to do this, I want to do that. That's the goal, is to put them in to those apprenticeship programs. There are a lot of programs out there, government funding programs that help people, to be able to get a professional career going for themselves. It's just a lot of people don't know where they at. So now the goal with the woman is to help her financially grow so that she can maintain the house by herself, but prayerfully don't really have to continue relying on the state and the government for funding. So it hit me one day in that process. I said, if you got a woman with about 5 kids, I said 9 times out of 10, she's gonna still need stamps. She can make about 70, 80,000. She can make that amount. I'm just saying. Living in a nice place. The goal is to put her into an affordable place. The goal is, with me, get into the housing program. My goal is I don't want them to pay no more than $500 a month for the mortgage. No more than $500. That's why I only charge them $600 for the room. Because if you can pay me $600 for your space, and if I can get you into a Section 8, or if I can get you into low, moderate income housing for that same $600, I know you can pay it on time every month. Because I'm watching you. I know you keeping your place clean. I know you making sure your kids are well fed, your kids are well taken care of, because I'm observing you. I'm watching you. That's what the Latanya D. Copeland House of Hope is all about. And guess what? The mayor know it. Our state's attorney know it. A lot of our council members know what Big Steve do. The goal is now, get it under the 501c so I can get that goddamn money. I didn't want to get the money at first because, number one, I didn't want him in my business.
Yeah, hold on a minute. For me, what do you mean, is it okay to visit? What do you mean? What do you mean by that? And who are you talking about? I've been down here, I've been reading your comments, but what are you asking? Is it safe?
If you want to come up, just request up. It's okay.
She's private anyway.
All right. For me, if you want to come up, just send a request. Oh. Come on, talk. Did you? Okay, come on, talk.
Come on for me.
Okay, to get on it. One of my goals.
Come close to the phone.
And, yeah, I just wanted to get some help on some advice on how I can help a kid that just got into juvie. He stole a jacket off of a kid, and they got him for robbery. I think it might be a misdemeanor. I'm not sure, but he's in juvie, and I don't know how to. I want to be that positive influence in his life. But when I went to the it's called Boys Village here in Maryland, I got some pushback from the counselors and the officers in there. So I was like, am I doing the right thing? I don't know how to do the right thing. I just needed some encouragement or some advice.
Where are you at in Maryland? Because I'm in Maryland. Which one? What facility? Because I was going to ask you how old was he? How old is he? For me, how old is he? I can't hear you. He's 16. I think I can. The
judge wouldn't release him to his parents,
but
they released him to one of his aunts on house arrest.
Okay.
But before he could get there, he ended up getting into a fight with two kids from D.C. that were on a unit. So it messed up his release, his home monitoring. So now in order for me to get to him, I'm gonna have to go there.
Are you a counselor or something along that line?
No. Do you guys have any of it? So you guys were mentioning sponsors. Are y'all AA or something?
Yeah, NA.
Sponsors?
NA.
What's NA? What does that stand for?
Narcotics Anonymous. The other part. The heavy duty.
Okay. All right. Well.
Reason why.
It's three people that are familiar with the system. So please, we do have some advice for you. Go ahead, Steve.
I'm just trying to. Where is he located? You ain't got to give me his name, but what facility they have him in?
Because with Steve being right there in Baltimore, he should be able to help you further on trying to see what he can do to help you. This is why he's trying to ask you certain questions. So help him, and maybe he might be able to help you out.
And see, number one, anytime she's willing to work with this young man, whatever counselor, whatever, I'm going to say correction officer, or whoever working with the young man, right, in the juvenile facility, if she's willing to work with him They should not knock that. They should not knock it. You know, we spoke out on the juvenile facility in Baltimore City, on Eagle Street, on Eagle and Greenmount, because of the way the correction officers was treating the young kids. So we did a protest on that facility. And when you said Maryland, you know you almost sent up my horns, right? Look, because I'm like, where? Because when I hear, come on for me.
I'll tell you offline or DM me.
Okay, yeah, please do, because you kind of got me.
Right. No, but I'm a woman, you know, and I don't know. I know that he might not listen to me to a certain extent because he's a young kid.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that bothered me, you know, what was his mindset when he went to take the jacket? And you know, I just think that anybody can benefit from someone taking an interest in them. And it bothered me that they didn't the judge wouldn't release him to his parents.
Oh yeah, thank you for saying that again. They might got some stuff behind them, because if he didn't let them go back to them, it might be something with them. Is the reason why. You know, that's what I'm looking at for me.
So, you know, I wanna be that positive person. He's already been in there for like 48 days. But I need help. I don't think I can do this. I need to build a community around me.
All right,
Has he
reach out.
Into any further trouble since he's been there?
Yeah, so the two guys from DC that he got into a fight with.
Is that the only incident that you know of?
That's the only incident.
And what was his original stay? Did he have like a sentence of some sort?
Yeah, they got him for robbery, and I think the restitution was like $2,000. It was a jacket.
Yeah, but how much time did he need to serve in order before he pays the restitution? Because that's when once you get out.
I think the judge said she'll revisit it in 4 months.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, they got him locked in. He ain't going nowhere for the 4 months.
That's what they did with me. When I couldn't make my 30-day that 30-day trial thing, because they indicted me, I had to wait 3 more months. And then when the 3 months came up, they came up with something else. But
I mean, I don't want him to get in trouble while he's there, you know.
Right.
He doesn't have a support system on the outside.
Right.
Do you have communication with him?
No, that's what I would. Do I start writing or do I go to visit?
Yes.
How do I get on a visit list? I mean, help me.
I would definitely call the facility and find out the visiting hours. And then if you wanted to find, you know, some kind of way to make it there during those visiting hours. But yeah, I would never discourage you to ever write, because look, those letters mean a lot to those people, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just make sure you hit me up, because I'm thinking about Uncle T, right? And he deals with a lot of the youth. It's a lot of them that I know that deal with a lot of the young men. It's just I wish it was some kind of way. 16, he would be very welcome over here, because you got Big Unc, and you got Big Unc right here. And
come on. That judge though, man, whenever they put that 4 months on him, man, that's the judge saying that. It's hard to backpedal away from the judge's decision like that.
But the thing I'm looking at,
whatever you're doing, please keep it up, because I mean, that's gonna let that young man know that, you know what, I may have gotten myself in trouble, but at least I can talk to somebody.
Right.
I have somebody behind me that can help me on the outside, give a message or something to my parents, or whatever the case may be. I'm glad that you're trying to make that effort to stay with him, and please do stay with that young man and give him the encouragement. It'll be all right. That 4 months ain't gonna be that long. They'll probably do it in 3, maybe 2 if he's lucky on good behavior. So
no, it's the way they got the system set up now. because I'm thinking about MTC, right? And the way they got it now, they play with you. They play, I'm telling you. Because I went from, huh?
With that robbery charge, though, man, you're going to get, I mean, tell him to, if you can get any kind of contact with him, please tell him to plead not guilty, not guilty, not guilty every single time with a solid no, I did not do it.
And she got
no
my thing is whoever they was letting him come home to on the box, you need to reach back out to them. Reach out to them and let them know what your vision is, your love, your passion of wanting to connect with him. So that way, because I'm quite sure they still dealing with him. So that way you can like be part of the family and they'll ease you in. That's what I'm looking at. Since you already know.
The best advice, though,
That's the best way to do it.
You have to have, with him being a minor, you have to get the parents' permission.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go see their child without their permission.
Right. And see, I'm looking at the person that you said that they was gonna let him go home to on the box. And see, normally when they do stuff like that, that means they taking charge of them. So, and it was approved according to, I'm gonna say, a judge. So I'm looking at them where you can slide in like a godmother. You get me? But you're right. I'm looking at the person who house he was going to on the home monitor. Because the judge, whatever with the parents, I don't know why, but it's like it's out of their hands. Because by right, he should have went back home with the parent or a parent. But they didn't let him for whatever reason. And I know we're not there with that. But whoever got him now, because I did foster care, so I'm going into this mode now. Whoever had rights for him is who you need to talk to. Because actually they need to speak out more for him. But if they willing to let you go there, they can put you in like as a godmother. They can put you in as an aunt. You get me? Because it gotta be similar to family. But your love is there. It's just giving you a title. You get it? I would give you a title. That's the way I would do it. In order for me,
come in as a big sister.
That one too. But now
I've seen that one happen quite a few times where some of the parents would allow like older counselors come in as sisters and talk to them that way.
Thanks, OG.
In contact with them and their loved ones like that. So, I mean, if you can get that parent or that guardian to give you that leeway to do it, go for it.
Thank you, OG.
That way he knows he's got that support system in and out.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Who put caseworker down there? Truth, find the caseworker. Yeah. Thank you, Truth. That's why when OG said, I'm gonna say as a mentor, just a woman mentor, however you can get a title, the caseworker, yup. Because you gotta find out, other than God forgive me, the ridiculous people that you had talked to that want to push you away. I don't like when people do that. When somebody is trying to help, don't do it. But I know they get paid. So, and they don't care if you straighten out your life or not. I already know that. But anyway, he right, the caseworker, and I love what OG said, because I'm looking at you more like the godmother, the auntie, but when OG said what he did, it's just the point of you getting in there. That's it. That's what I'm looking at for me. It's like finding a way to get you connected. And somebody can vouch for you because you can be his mouthpiece. You hear me, right? And that's what I'm looking at. Because you're willing to support him mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to let him know somebody's here for him. He need that. That's what we talk about on here. That spiritual growth, that love for the teens and everything, because part of this, I know you might not see it for me, We do the BMore's Real Teen Talk as well. Matter of fact, that's, oh my God, where my head is at? That's the show for the day for me. BMore's Real Teen Talk, right? And our goal is to empower and inspire our youth. And that's what they're doing. They're basically helping you to understand that the work that we put in, and this is our way of encouraging and motivating our younger generation. And I love the fact of what you said, Queen, as far as wanting to be there for him. I love it.
Yeah, because I just want to know what his mindset was, or what his mindset was when if he took the jacket, what his mindset was, and why did he have to take the jacket, and the fact that, you know, had I known him then, you know, I would have gave him the money for the jacket. But, you know, the materialistic society that we live in, you know, if you see another kid that has an expensive jacket on, his parents could have got that from him. He could have got it from getting good grades. You don't know how he earned that jacket. So,
but you also have to look at, why did he do it?
Right, that's what she's saying. Hey, OG.
I know, but now listen. But now listen. Here's the scenarios. You got some people that are trying to get in the gangs, so that could have been one of those type of deals, you know, to get in. It could have been.
Oh, thank you, OG. I just caught that what you said. Getting into the gang. Oh!
Getting in the gangs or something like that. That's, you know, one of their ways of getting in. You have to take something from somebody that's valuable enough to get in, or, you know, something like that. So that's something to look into.
Okay.
That's deep. That is really deep.
It is real deep.
Yeah. See, you know I'm old. Hey, for me, you know I'm old because I forgot about that part. Come on for me.
How would I get him to open? I don't know if I can get that close to him to get him to open up.
If you get close to him, I'm gonna tell you this: he will open up. It's just something I feel about you spiritually, right? And I'm gonna share this because your approach will be love. Your approach will be like that mother. You listening to three guys up here. We're pop-pops. We're dads. So we're gonna come at you. We do tough love sometimes, right? But it's the healing part. So I'm looking at you, and as a woman, and the love and the nurturing that's there, that's gonna make him weak, right?
Yeah.
Even though, be honest with you, he might not have got it from his mother or father. I'm just saying, because I don't know why the judge didn't let him go. But see, you stepping in, and I'm looking at the presence of that nurturing from a woman. And I'm going to say basically to a man, but that's a boy. So it's still the same, you get me? That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the love that you're willing to give him, but I'm looking at the mental, the emotional, the spiritual. Woo! It's like filling that void.
And I think it would be much easier for him to open up to you because you are coming that way as a loving, nurturing, caring, understanding adult that wants to help him. Not a mother.
Right. I got you.
Someone that is willing to listen to him and not lead him in the wrong direction, but lead him in the correct way to go.
Come on, OG.
So, nah, brother. Come on now. We know how to do what we do because this is what we have been taught how to do. So we know what to do when it's time to do what we need to do, baby.
Now reach out to me because actually, if you can say it, I just want to know what facility he's at.
Yeah, I don't want no backlash, but I will reach out to you.
Okay.
I can, I don't want no backlash, but I will text you. Is it okay to text you?
Yeah. Because basically where my mind is at from what you said is actually reaching out to whoever we can. And to be honest with you, Ivan Bates just came to mind. That's our state's attorney. You familiar with Ivan Bates? Because you said you from Maryland.
Yeah, but I'm in Southern Maryland. Southern Maryland. Like I'm not near Baltimore County.
All right, now. So what oh, I'm sorry. So what area do they have him in, basically? Is he in the county?
He's in county.
Okay. Because you in Southern Maryland, you back up there near like California and all that, right? Maryland.
Southern, like Waldorf.
Right, that's the that used to be my area. I used to deliver back up there near Southern Maryland, Waldorf, around there. I'm getting ready to say Six Flags. But yeah, I delivered all of that Brandywine and all of that. That's why when you said Southern Maryland, California came to mind, because that's somewhere back up there where y'all at too, right? Have you ever heard of that? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So come on.
For the youth in our area, there's nothing for them to do. They don't have programs where, they used to have programs where you could be an electrical person, get into the trades out of high school. A lot of kids don't have reading levels or grade levels where they can go straight into college. Their reading levels aren't that high. So, you graduate from high school and you don't get into a job because you don't have a trade. And so guess what happens? They go home and, their mom and dad is working, but they at home playing video games, getting into trouble, doing everything. And from 18 to 25, if you don't catch them, they're going to get it, and they're going to, be to some will be to their own demise. That's the only thing about it,
And that's one of the reasons why we started this, to help reaching out to our young, I'm going to say from 13 mainly to 19, because I know people that work with them from 19 to like 24. And then you got some that work with them under 13, but they tell me, I don't want to work with them. They too hard-headed. They this, they that. I'm like, I want them though. I want them, because I'm just looking at the rough life that I used to live. And I feel like as an OG, and I can relate to certain things because it's how you communicate with them, how you talk to them.
And I just think if you have a grown man and he reached back and mentored took one under his wing, the community will be so much better. But they're not reaching back helping these young males, I'm telling you. So they either sitting at home, with their parents, with their moms, but they're not helping these boys. They're not helping these young kids.
A lot of them not, but I apologize for come on, finish talking, Queen.
Yeah, so I know because we're in a rural area. We're in the rural area in PG County. There's no after-school programs. There's no trades where the kids. I'm not just talking about. I'm talking about just the girls and the boys. I'm not just talking about young men. I'm talking about girls, young women as well. If they're not going to these community colleges in a 4-year college, then they're sitting at home.
Excuse me, right? And everything you saying is
there is no pipeline. The counselors aren't sending them. I didn't mean to use that word, but they're not sending them to the city to get jobs after they graduate. They're not sending them to the federal government to get jobs after they graduate. They don't have the apprenticeships programs where they're putting them in plumbing, construction, or electrical. They took the trades out of high school. So what are we going to do? We just have a society that's going to be lost. And believe it or not, our taxpayer dollars is paying for them to go to juvie, to be prison. That's not right. That's not right. Nobody deserves to get fast-tracked to juvie. Nobody deserves to get fast-tracked to the county jail because they don't have nobody taking an interest in them after they graduate. And I don't like that.
And see, that's one of the big issues, too, that we have in Baltimore. Some years ago, some years ago for me, I asked Brandon Scott, that's the mayor, right? I said, how many recreation facilities do we have? He said 47. I said, what? Because some years ago before that, it was like almost 60. But I'm looking at how it's dropping. But now everything you saying for me is to create programs. Now I'm looking at you up in that area, right? And there's some work if you want to try to put stuff together, you'll have to do. But in Baltimore City, we have to create programs like you said, the apprenticeship programs. Now, the way I'm looking at it, Queen, I want to open up a multi-purpose center. Real simple. Name it after my son, the Stephen Copeland Jr. Multi-Purpose Center for Inner City Youth, because he plays soccer. So he does a lot of that, right? But not just that. Music, art, theater, dancing, to embrace their talents. This is a lot of the stuff that we grew up on. When I was in elementary school, we did all of this. Like you said, they took these programs out of a lot of the schools or recreation centers. So the goal is to create those things again. And it's people that have programs for me, to be honest with you, but they don't have those in them. And you have to embrace their talents. You got some young ladies or men young guys that can sing real well. So you get them somebody in there to teach them how to carry a note. You got some that wants to go into acting. You get somebody in there from these theater classes, you can go to a college and get those to come in and volunteer their time. The guy, Maurice Bamboo Thomas, in Yonkers, New York, had programs where he worked with youth, and he used to be an actor. So he helps them embrace their hidden talents. And I said, look, I need you to come to Baltimore City and help me to put programs together, just like you saying. We got them, but it's little to none. You get it? It's very far but few. I be trying to look up other programs that might have teen talk shows.
And then here I'm coming in.
Look, like everything you saying for me, I be looking them up to see how many other people have programs like this to actually help better educate our children.
Yeah, because I was scrolling here and I said, wait a minute, is this BMore Teen Talk? Let me look on here to see what this conversation is about. And when you look down, it says your 12-step spiritual journey to healing and growth. And I'm like, are these OGs talking? And so I said, wow, this is community activism at its best.
Oh my God.
If you want to be on here, then this is, and then of course you're talking about the sad day and the tragic death of the is it Cartier Wiley?
Yeah, it's I know it's COH because I was trying to watch pronouncing it. It's Kohen. Come on, Common Sense, you might just pronounce it a little better. But I know it's Wiley. And I was reading something about where the mother said that when the officers came up, see, when I start stuttering, that means I'm trying to watch my words. When the officers came up, they basically pulled their stuff out. And she was trying to show them that she had her son because she didn't want them to actually fire on the car. But he did it anyway. And that's what they're investigating apart now. Why would he do it? So I just wanted to talk about it a little bit because, like you said, sometimes, and me and OG was talking about it a little bit earlier, where was this guy mental condition at? Is he healthy or fit to be an officer? Did he have prior charges? People making complaints about him because of that destructive behavior. So be honest with you, I went into activism mode and I started doing my little research on that too.
You know what I say? All these cops should go through mental testing before they even get out on the streets. Seriously.
Yeah, but that I heard you guys say earlier that cop had a history. And
Yeah.
So he shouldn't. There should be a citizen board or something that stop cops from going, because that's what they do. Bad cops, they just go from city to city, from town to town, until they're stopped or something like this happens. You know what I mean? There should be like a strike, not force, but some type of committee that stops cops that have had to resign or due to misconduct.
See?
You know what? There should be a board, a citizens board or something that should be set up in each city, each state. That way a cop has to resign for misconduct, that he can't transfer into somebody else's county and kill somebody else's citizen, an innocent citizen, or much less a child. This was police misconduct at its finest that he had a history of. And if there was a board or some type of I don't know how they do it, but if you're under investigation, you shouldn't be able to transfer from county to county or police force to police force. They should stop it.
Matter of fact, they should blacklist it, period. Blacklist him, period. From ever going into any, and if you change your name, you still, and we find you, now that's jail time.
And a lot of them are the OG. I'm thinking they'd do that too. But look, I'm listening to y'all, and I'm like to myself, right? Because my big mouth.
But it's true. It's most certainly true.
Yeah.
Common sense.
There is no one that is taking accountability for these ratchet ass, ruined fucking cops that don't know what the hell they need to do. They need to go back to fucking training.
OG, stop! Come on, common sense. Come in with some prayer, please.
I'm gonna disagree with the training thing. I'm gonna totally disagree with the training thing, because we've been hearing this training thing since Rodney King. That's been over 30 years ago. Okay? So it's not training. It's the way the system has been set up and operating. Now I'm getting ready to give y'all a little. I've been dropping this little key for a long time. Do you know that judges, prosecutors, anybody in law enforcement has what is called a public bond? Okay, they have to have a public bond. The problem is we only want to sue them civically. We need to place a lien on their bond. The only person that can take that lien off, that's why the young woman, her name was Corey, in Baltimore, that they lied about why they showed up at her house. Okay? She had a bond against those officers that eventually took her life, because the only person that can remove a lien off of the bond is the person who physically puts it on there in the first place. Do you know what that bond is, the lien against their bond? That means anything that they own personally and their pensions now comes into question. And why they've been so... Do you realize that a beautician has to have more hours in training than a correction officer or a policeman? Do you know at one point in time they only required a GED? Okay.
But what I was going to ask you is, how do you get their surety bond company? How do you know?
That's what
It's you know what, the one thing that I'm gonna say is this, because I worked in the system. All you got to do is look it up. If you know their name, if you know their name, where they work at, you can do the research and you can find it, and you can literally go listen. And I'm gonna make it real simple. All you need is their badge number, their name, the police department that they work for, the county in which they work for. You go to the county clerk's office and you file the paperwork. That's it. That's it.
Let me share this to what you just said. When I went down to the renters court, right, because I was being harassed by the police in Baltimore City, it was the lady in there that handed me a paper. She said, if you fill this out because you're being harassed, she said you can get up to $30,000. She said if you go across the street, which was the city hall, you can get more. I said I'm gonna go across the street because I got about 30 police. I didn't badge number. But look, at that time, right? You know, I was just trying to get help. But she right. Because
a lot of stuff is not over the phone. Go in person. Because I'm gonna say this. Everybody, when you really start to go and interact with these people, they already know they bad cops. The system already, the clerks already know who the bad cops is. That's why because you got to think about it, these people have to deal with them too.
See, thank you. Cause look, when I would go down to the commissioner's place, right, and I would see officers in there filling out papers. Now, mind, y'all got a stack of names this big. They like, let me see the papers. I would let them see it. They would bust out laughing because it was like a deck of cards. And I'm like, these are the Eastern District Polices. I'm trying to call y'all to come and help. Y'all coming for me. But now,
because we have to realize, and I'm gonna say this, we have to realize that they have been. If I was a bully, that would be one of the first places that I know I can get a check and support my lifestyle. And I have the union to back me, so I can continue to be a bully.
See, that's why when I looked up this thing with this officer, right? Because I had to see, actually, is they going to justify the behavior?
Thank you, Steve, for doing that, because normally I would do that. I don't get emotional. I go look and see who the players is to see what's going on. And this time they're not going to let him escape. Plus we got Walmart, okay? The call came from Walmart, okay? Everybody forgets the call came from Walmart. They would have never been there if somebody didn't call. Now, I'm going to say this personally. Everybody in this country needs to stop using those self-checkouts, because it seems as though they're always accusing certain people at the self-checkout. So always, you know what, people got to think about it. You work hard for your money. You're going into a facility and you're shopping, and now you're doing free labor for them. That's labor. So why don't we use critical thinking? Because I know, in certain areas, Walmart is the only place a person gets shot, okay? Why don't we just have the patience enough to stand in a line and force them to hire people again, cashiers, so people can no longer be wounded and an innocent child's life will not be taken.
But what common sense just said, common sense, what you just said, right? When I looked it up, my thing was why security did not do their job. But it was telling me how Walmart now their security is not supposed to actually approach anybody or something like that, right? But now they stated that when the officer came, because of his demeanor, and all that, they felt like I'm trying to look for it because basically what it was saying, he escalated something that shouldn't have been that far.
They always escalate everything, okay? Because it shows a lack of maturity and they get away with things because of, quote unquote, a badge, right? I think as a nation of people, we need to stand united and says anytime that there is a officer's death, he is put on suspension without pay, okay? He don't get no vacation. F the union, okay?
I feel you. That's why I kind of
okay. And I believe in the unions, okay? But we keep on seeing this same behavior pattern, okay?
And see, to me, you give them the authority to do certain things. Come on.
We have to use common sense and not emotional rhetoric. There are means and ways to get them based upon the law. The law. We just don't use the law, and I'm getting ready to say this. We got to stop having Crooked Neck, Ben Crumpton, and
stop.
And Al the Shark, and Tamika Rollery, and them showing up. The people in the city have to start demanding justice without those players, because those people come in, they not coming in for justice, they're coming in for a payout.
Yeah, but when they're coming out for a payout, they're coming out for a payout against.
But they don't. But what I'm saying is they already. They don't do
what
that. We have to realize is that these people are in cahoots.
But they don't do
a lot of them.
Cut the deal.
A lot of them are.
YTs. They don't escalate shit with the YTs. They do it with us because they know
that's what I'm saying. These are provocateurs for a paycheck.
I'm trying to ignore you calling them names. Because you got me over cracking up. I'm trying to do it.
We just gotta start telling the truth. We gotta start telling the truth. If we're talking about saving the youth, if we're really talking about saving the youth, and she's so correct, what we have to do is become architects of a new plan, a new vision, okay? And, I'm going to say this. We got abandoned houses and stuff. What's wrong with going in there and renovating that abandoned house and make it, instead of asking the city to give us another rec center, why we can't make it into a place where young people can gather, and we start to ask some of the older gentlemen to teach mechanic skills. I'm all for it. And while we getting this popping off, we can also get money and get it certified. So when these young men come out of these programs and stuff, they have these skills, because there is no rehabilitation in juvenile, okay? And then what we gotta do is we gotta address this issue right now. And why I said, why can't we take an abandoned house and convert it?
Well,
we gotta teach basic skills, and it's called reading comprehension.
That's what we were.
Behavior problems that we see in the youth is due to the fact that they cannot read. Yes.
And see, everything y'all are saying, right? God dang it! I wish Dante was right here. He's a tutor, right? So we know everything common sense you talking about. We already know that they are issues, right? And sometimes I just get tired of talking about the program itself. But that's the whole goal of putting things together where we can better educate our children. We already know the system is failing them. Like for me was saying, we already know that. And remember earlier when I said I was asked to come and speak out on our school superintendent not properly giving the teachers, because I had talked with some teachers, the school is not giving them the proper education, curriculums to educate our children.
We can sue as taxpayers.
They did.
The taxpayers of the corporation of the United States. We can sue.
Listen, common sense, you correct.
For not educating these kids.
You correct, because that's what Javon and them did. Javon and them, they filed the lawsuit against the school system or the city itself. But Ben Crump came out about that. I read up on it. They came to a deal.
Why are you talking about that Oreo head?
I'm gonna hurt you, common sense.
Because you know what? I ain't trying to be funny, but he looked like crumble cookies. He looked like that.
She on fire.
I know. Common sense, stop. Cause look. What you say his name was? Ben Crumpet? Whatever. When that happened to me,
crumble cookie. He looked like the oatmeal. He looked like the Oreo crumble cookie. Go.
I'm gonna hurt you. Cause look, when that happened to me 3 years ago, common sense with the Eastern District Police Department in Baltimore City, I was gonna call the oatmeal cookie. I was gonna say, help.
You know what? I'm gonna tell y'all something. You in Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
You in Baltimore. Do y'all know y'all got free? Legal? Start tapping into these law schools. Start tapping into the law schools, because these kids be want to take these cases and stuff.
But you know what? You're right, common sense. Cause look, as a community activist, you got to stay connected with, certain law firms. Like the ACLU have lawyers, right? And when I hear a lot about young people, what you saying, common sense, when I hear a lot about young people, if I hear that fighter in them, as far as I'll ask them stuff like they fighting for people's civil rights, equal rights, and constitutional rights, right? I can hear certain things. And my goal is I will encourage them to keep it going, because I know some of the bull crap you're going to go through. I wasn't a paid organizer, okay? Now watch this. I was not a paid organizer with Communities United. So whenever I opened up my mouth, I could step across lines that the paid organizers couldn't. They would give you a script to read whenever you're at a rally or something. Watch them. They normally reading off a script. They hand me one a few times. I was like, I'm not going to follow it. I will read a little bit of it to get the point across. But 9 times out of 10, when I go, I go. And I'm going to share a little bit about the issue like we talking. But then I'm going to go right into what we can do to resolve it. And what I found out, family, I ain't messing with you, common sense. But look, because I like to make jokes, right? I say when I come with the solutions, they grab me by the collar and be like, get that nigga out of here. We ain't trying to hear that.
Because they don't, you know what, I'm going to say this.
Come on, common sense.
These people make money off of poor people's misery.
Ouch! I didn't say it, common sense. But you're right. And I started saying it. Let me show y'all this. This is my look. See this? Whenever I step up in City Hall, I step up anywhere, right? When it comes to us fighting whatever, I'm going to say issues. See this right here? This is my solutions. When I come, they be like, oh shit, there goes Steve. Excuse me, common sense, because I'm trying to watch your queen. Look, I don't play. I've come in, we can do this, we can do that. And they be like, what the heck? Ain't nobody asked you that, Steve. Big Unc, we love you, man, but sit your butt down. No. But I understand everything common sense is saying, to be honest with y'all. And it's past the common sense. They got a job to do. And who else got a job to do? us. And the
But
goal
you know
is
what?
on that
I'm gonna
spiritual
say
note.
this.
Come on.
We gotta stop thinking that we need 100 people. We gotta realize that the people will come when we start doing the work. And we have to ask ourselves, because Steve, I put up a post because I told you what I had seen, and it really kind of like, I'm going to just say, pissed me off and stuff. Because I'm starting to feel like we as a people in this nation, that the parents have forgotten to protect their children. And so the damage is inside the house now. The parents are burning the house down with the children in it, okay? And I said, we have to combat that. Number one, we got to call it out. You can never solve a problem if you don't want to identify the problem. Then number two, we come with solutions, okay? And the youth is lost because the parents have not stood up to fight for their children, okay? They've been reactive. But I listened to this young man's testimony today. He got in trouble because he was unloved, okay? And most of our young men who are incarcerated is due to the fact of lack of parenting, lack of nurturing, lack of resources, and the lack of education, the ability to read, okay? But he talked about what happened to him as a young child in that juvenile system. He sounded like he had been in a prison camp in World War II in the treatment of him. Now, we as a nation and as adults, we got to start answering some hard questions. If we are going to be a Christian nation, then what type of Christ are we going to operate in? Are we going to operate in a murderous version of Christ, or are we going to operate in the real spirit of Christ? Because we're losing our young black males to manipulation. I'm going to call it media manipulation. Your manhood has nothing to do with media. Not with an actor on TV or anything. We need to get the mentality of worshiping rappers, celebrities, football players, and basketball players. I used to be a big fan of sports. I just like the way that OJ ran. Run, OJ, run. Okay, that's what I'm going to say. But I didn't worship the man. Jim Brown, I didn't worship Jim Brown. I didn't worship quarterbacks because I knew that was their job. We have replaced parenting with worship. We put celebrities before parents. We need to honor the profession of teaching again, and we need to have teachers be reformed. But we must begin to reimagine what it is to be a citizen in the United States, and what does it mean to be a child in the United States. Because right now, we got a whole lot of snakes. We got a whole lot of snakes, and our kids are being poisoned. We got the rattlers, the boa constrictors. They restricting the children's mind into filth and degradation. We got to do it. We got to be the compass, and we got to be the ark again of more. reality. But we got to get back to basics. We got to teach them. We can't look for the government to do it because the government plan is to lock them up. And that's been their plan since 1986 because I was in the United States Army and I was told by a colonel their plan was to make sure that every black male that was over the age of 9, between 9 and 40, will have a number, okay? Look around. Look around. That was 1988. I was in the military. Look around. Ain't that true? Ain't that true? So if we know what the enemy is, then we need to come up with a plan to defeat the enemy. Because he's devouring our children. And at this point in time, if the skin folk ain't doing the right thing by everybody, then we gotta call them out and we gotta move them to the side. Say, no, you need to go and buy you some crumbled cookies and go sit down. Because you just milking cookies at this point. And we all gotta stand up for that baby. We all gotta stand up for that baby. All of us gotta stand up for the baby. It ain't about, and that's the one thing that we gotta stop doing. We gotta stop picking this thing about Democrat and Republican. We gotta stand up for righteousness, what's right. And that individual that shot that baby, he should not ever sleep again. That's all I'm gonna say on that.
I was going to say he gonna sleep, but where at? But let me leave that alone.
Yeah, but we're gonna leave that alone.
It was just something that you took me back to, right? God have a purpose for everything he do. And what happened with me 3 years ago, right? I started reading from Genesis all the way through the Revelations. And God started showing me that the same way he told Moses to go tell Pharaoh, I said, let my people go. Right? Now, and I didn't understand the process, how they set things up to enslave and oppress the people. So he want me to see this. When he told, and I got to watch this because they flagged me. When he told the midwives to do what? To the firstborn sons. Take them out. Right? Wait a minute. Because I'm trying to show you. Wait, you gotta watch it. TikTok will block it. That's why I'm watching my words, right? TikTok will block it. Now, I gotta back up from this. This is when he showed me from a statement that was made with the black young males. Take them out. Post-traumatic slave. No, I'm sorry. I quoted the wrong one. The school to prison pipeline. Everybody is saying it for me, saying that if you don't properly educate our young men, they're going to become criminals in order to try to survive in life. That's why when I told my lawyer I got a 9th grade education, he just knew I had a bad criminal background. I said, no. At 21, I got into trucking. And I drove, and he was amazed to hear that story. And the reason why I'm saying this, family, it's a setup. And once he took me back to that, and I understood when I came home the fight that I had to do. And when I say that, family, I'm talking about towards the system. So when you hear us talk about stuff like post-traumatic slavery syndrome, and God started showing me organized religion and politics is what's enslaved and oppressed my people. So the thing is, in all of that, you got to come up with programs. You got to come up, like Foreman was saying, you got to come up with programs when you know what is happening in your community. You got to come up with it because those are the solutions. So when y'all hear me say stuff like this, Van Brooks, who mentors young men in Baltimore City, Damon Cooper, Joe Gamble, May Alfonso, Umar, Manor, Lisa Cooper, Lisa, Cherie Rogers. I'm talking about black people in Baltimore City that works with the youth. And it was told to me during my talk show to mention some of the organizations that's in the facility that's doing the job. To let people know and to give people that sense of hope, right? So when I talk about Squeaky got the rec center. He worked with the youth. When I talk about Uncle T, Squeaky worked with basically the younger ones. Uncle T worked with the young teenagers, the young youth, and young adults. And then I was amazed to find out. I knew he worked with the guys. He worked with the girls too. But the thing is, him and his wife do this.
What's his name again?
Which one?
You said
Uncle T.
Uncle T. Okay.
Yeah, Uncle T has a youth program, and Uncle T and I, right? Well, we spoke at City Hall on some things, but I like the work he's doing because he's working with. That's who I said I was going to send you to. He works with the youth, and they just celebrated their 10th year for me. They had all of them in tuxedos, and the girls was in nightgowns. They threw down. I'm so proud of what Uncle T is doing. You know, those names that I mentioned, I'm telling y'all, they on LinkedIn, they in Baltimore City. I can only speak for Baltimore City, and it's not about preaching. I'm just saying what Common Sense was talking about. We see the problem, family. It's the solutions. Slowing a lot of this down. Slowing a lot of it down.
Like in my county or in my city, they talk about the YMCA, they talk about the Boys and Girls Club, they talk about United Way. But when I go to those places, I don't see African American children, young boys, and young girls in those places. You know, I think we do need to have, like you said, Uncle T. We don't have an Uncle T down here. The voters, they don't care about the youth here where we live at. They don't care about the youth. They'll raise our taxes and take our tax money, but I don't know where it's going to, because it's not going back into the community to help the young folks and to get them jobs. I go to the franchises down here, the Walmarts, the Taco Bells, the Kentucky Fried Chickens, and they all have Hispanics. They have no African-American young youth working in the franchises. You know, why can't we? There used to be a time where when we went to school that we could get a job. But we could work in our city. We could have summer jobs. We could go to work after school. Our kids don't go to work after school. They go home and sit in front of the TV and play PlayStation. They don't work. They don't go to work. They go home and they have to wait for their parents to get home. So can you imagine after you get off from school, you let yourself in the house and you sit there until your parents come home to cook you dinner, then you wake up and start it all over again. There is a big window to get in trouble. There's a big window to get out there and get in the streets and do something before your parents get home from work.
Mm-hmm.
And where I'm at right now,
about what I was saying about, it's a lot of businesses that own these trades. Do you think they would go to the counselors and say, hey, how many kids do y'all have on work permit? Let me take some of them and let me teach them a trade. Let them come work with me. No, when my granddaddy, he had a construction company. When he went to work, when he left out of here at 5 o'clock in the morning, he had at least 6 men in the van with him, and he took them to work, and he had a small business. And he employed the community. If it wasn't for my granddaddy he had about 50 people from the community, and these were African American men that couldn't get a job. He employed the community. People don't do that. They They got all these general contracting business, plumbing business, electrical business. Do you think they'll go get a black brother and help them get their electrical license, get their plumber's trade license? It's black African American men with trade companies, and they won't hire their own young youth. How do you expect them to learn if you don't teach them and reach back and teach them? Somebody has to teach you. But then all you want to do is talk about them, blaspheme them, talk about their single moms, their single parents. You talk about them like a dog, and then when they get in trouble, you want to disown them, but you ain't doing nothing to help them. You're not helping them. You're not helping them, and you know you paying your tax money. You know you're voting these public officials and these county councilmen, these mayors, and you know they're not helping the youth.
Mm-hmm.
You know
that. And you know what? For me, that's why I had to back up off them.
So if I'm 52, there's people that are 62. There's people that are 72. We got to stop talking about it, and we have to be about it.
Right. And see.
So, I made it my business that I'm helping some youth this year. I don't care what I have to do. I'm going to help some youth this year. I'm going to get out. I'm going to come outside my nice, comfortable home, my nice county. I'm going to try to do something. If I don't do nothing but go to the boys' village and visit.
But you know what I hear for me, and I'm just saying where you at in Southern Maryland, you probably is going to have to put some stuff together.
Yeah.
It's probably on your spirit. Yeah, come on.
It only takes one person. And it only takes one person.
Mm-hmm.
It only takes one person. I'll knock doors down. I don't know my high schools and my middle schools, and I can reach out to the counselors and stuff like that, but nobody's talking to the counselors and saying, I have a couple of nieces and nephews, but I asked their counselors, I said, do you have these kids on work permits? I know when I was in high school, I got my work permit at 16. And I went to Kentucky Fried Chicken, and yes, I only made $10 an hour, but do you know how much that helped me out working, getting a paycheck, $400 a week? I could get my food, I can get my tennis shoes, I can get whatever I needed to cover my expenses for high school. And the counselors said that they're like in the 10% percentile of doing work release permits. They said the kids don't want to sign up for work release. Work permits. I said, no. Is it you as a counselor to encourage work permits? Or are you going to wait for the?
I was getting ready to say that. It's about encouraging them.
Exactly. But she said for each counselor she could issue at least, I think, 30 to 40 work permits per semester. And she hadn't reached her quota. Well, lady, you know how many kids that could be working, saving their parents? Not only that, it gives them a purpose. They give back to the community. You're bringing home a paycheck at 16 because you have a work permit. You're being productive. You know what I mean?
Hey, for me.
We have a big community center that we're paying thousands of dollars for. And they don't even have a bus route for the kids. And then I don't like it that they want to charge our kids to catch the bus. When you go to Montgomery County, if you're a citizen, you don't have to pay to get on the bus. Do you know what it's like to get $20 a week? Some parents don't have. You got to pay $20 to ride the bus, and you're a taxpayer. That makes no sense. Our bus stops, we don't have covered bus stops. We don't have bike ramps. How you going to get to the bus stop? You walk, right? Or you ride your bike. But then when you get there, you can't secure your bike. You can't secure your bike. You need to ride your scooter. We're talking about kids, and everybody want to talk about the kids and the young kids, but they don't want to help them. I don't like that.
Let me ask you this, because I know you in Southern Maryland. Do they have like marginalized communities there as well? They basically for the poor people.
I don't think so. I think it's more like a middle class.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean?
Yeah, because I know that area back up there where y'all are at is money. So.
I don't think we don't have. They're mixed So that's the thing. They're mixed in with the middle class, so it's kind of hard. I mean, it's going to be hard to identify, but it doesn't mean that, everybody that's in this, like I was telling the counselor, everybody in here that's getting free lunch are the ones that you guys need to be targeted. If you get free lunch, you on low income. Your mom don't have money. Your dad don't have money. You're considered Section 8. You don't have money.
And you know what I started realizing? Now I deal more with your marginalized communities, and I'm starting to see where your middle class, I didn't understand it at first until I looked it up, is like becoming your marginalized community, because the taxes going up, the prices on the food going up. So a lot of them, it's like where they at financially, they got to spend more of their money to maintain their lifestyle. I'm like, oh, because I'm looking at us in the inner city and what's happening. But then I'm looking, I said the middle class people is starting to complain more like they the poor people. And I said, oh my God. When I started looking up the taxes and the prices on stuff, and they have to put out more money now compared to the ones that actually rely and depend on state and government funding. SNAP and all that.
Where's our after programs? I know when I was going to school, I could go to the cafeteria after school and do my homework until my mom came and picked us up after she was working. She would come and pick us up before 6:30, but I could go to the cafeteria. I mean the recreation center. We could play. We could go and they let the school auditorium or the cafeteria. You could go there right after school and have access to the football field, to the basketball field. You could have access to the cafeteria, but you had to do your homework.
Right.
But it was a safe place for you to hang out. You know what I mean? It was a safe place for you to go and do your homework. It was a safe place if you needed a tutor. You could do your tutor, but the way to be there was you had to be doing your homework.
And see, everything y'all talking about, right? Because I'm gonna get right in this, and everything y'all talking about, I have to sit down with some people, right? And I'm talking about like lawyers and stuff for me, because and common sense, because the goal is now is to take the Latanya D. Copeland House of Hope and do the 401k with it. So I've been looking into other things where I have to get people like lawyers, like common sense was saying. I have to get people that understand the paperwork. I have to get people that know how to position everything. And what AI told me too, common sense, said you doing all the daggone work anyway. So you gotta have them put everything that I discussed and I've been doing throughout the years together. So that way when we go to apply for that money, it's there. And dealing with our council members, because those are the ones that actually write the check. So what they pointed out to me, Mr. Copeland, you're already doing the footwork. It's just putting everything together so business partners and investors and all of that can see it. And I did the LLC myself. So I want to do everything. I need the professionals. So that's all it was telling me to do. So I can put separate the LLC. Because right now, my housing program is under the LLC. But it was telling me a way of mixing the LLC. I just got to move out the way myself into that. Right. So I said I got to get somebody that already knows what to do. So I'm just sharing that with y'all. Come on.
Hey, Steve, just this thought just came to me. Part of it is because you already got the marginalized families, right? The kids. So you can do a spin-off program since the kids are already there, and do it where you actually do it on an educational skill level. But as long as those kids are in your program, they also get what is called job readiness training. How to properly fill out a application, career development, exposing to career development and everything, So, like they always say, the wheel already been invented. You don't have to teach a wheel how to spin. You just wanted to go a little bit further.
You know what? Common sense. For me, I love this woman right here. Um, I always tell people give me 3 to 6 months, right? And common sense work with basically at one point with the women. Now, most of your housing programs, I'm gonna say transitional, is 18 to 24 months. So common sense was like, Steve, you got to give the women with children at least 18 to 24 months because it's a cycle you got to break. I was like, oh my God. But then not only that, she said, and reach out to the Salvation Army. I'm like, "Huh?" Reach out to look, these charitable places, right? She mentioned a few other places that actually helps them towards their rent and stuff like that. It's just teaching them, like she said, it's teaching them and educating them. And when she told me that, I was like, thank you. Because now I understand with some mothers, you have to give them time because they stuck in a certain era. And I love it because every time she said it hits me. And that's it. I'm part of the Salvation Army and everything, right? And I know a program which Common Sense was telling me about that basically will cover it up to like a year. And I know some of these apartments, Common Sense, I meant to tell you that they got contracts with them. So,
Okay.
so it's just, I'm gonna tell you what I learned in that process too. If they can get you to pay out your pocket before they put you in the program, they're gonna try to do that first. I said, y'all
Yeah.
suckers. I said, y'all suckers, right? And the reason why I said that, right? And I don't think he looking. I started dealing with this Jewish guy, got a lot of property. He said, your goal is to prepare them. See, I'm the temporary process. This what he was saying, Common Sense, for the permanent. So he want us to work together. I got a shelter. I want you to work with me with the shelter because it's preparing people to move them forward. I sent some people down to him. He tried to charge them regular rent. I said, but you get a grant from the HUD,
But
and
you gotta realize you gotta realize this, and I'm gonna just say this. The hustle is real. The hustle is real. And that's one of the things that I had to learn. The nonprofit game is a hustle and it's real.
And she right. You right. I'm
real.
sorry,
It's
Common
real.
Sense. She right. She right because look, this is what he told me. One, the people that I sent wanted something for 1,400. Okay, my thing is, I know I want him to put him on like Section 8 low income stuff like that because he got a contract with the HUD. So I'm thinking he gonna work with them in that sense because of the program. But if he can get you to pay, that's what he was doing. Not just that.
He double dipping.
Come on. But look, Common Sense. He charged him 14 and then 14 for the security. Then he charged him another 14. I'm like, wait a minute, this is the second chance forgiveness program. So even though your background might not look right, the goal is don't hold it against them. So and he threw that in, but it wasn't him. It was his son. So when I called him to ask him, I said, why did you do that? He said,
first last security deposit. That's probably why.
no, he was throwing the third one in. Because when your credit not that good, right? They can do twice the security. And see, a lot of people don't have it.
But Steve, let me say this. When you're doing housing program, your client should never have to make a deposit because whatever the program is going to cover is already baked into the contract. And I know that for a fact.
I was getting ready to say.
You're dealing with people that may not have the greatest track record, okay? So you already know that they gonna have to pay, the first and the last month's rent, right?
Right.
So it should have been baked into that contract. But a lot, like I said, there are people who like to double dip. They play the system, plus they play the people because the people don't know no better.
Right. And that's what pissed me off. I'm sorry, Common Sense. That's what pissed me off because I'm like, because I had talked with him and I'm sending people to the office. So wait a minute, you got the, so many houses into HUD, so he can work with you, right? Even a senior citizen building. So he already got the vouchers and all that type of stuff, right? But I realized, and this is what he said, just what Common Sense said. When I said something to him about that, he said, it's business. I said, okay. What else am I going to do? It's business.
But you know what? What you can do is just go find you some honest people. Because he's not honest.
Right. And then,
don't let him take advantage of your clients. Don't let him take advantage of your clients.
I know. And then look, this is what I said. I got to do, family, right? I got to make sure certain ones that tells me that they can afford certain things. Now, you see this envelope here? Can you see it? If y'all can see it. What I do right here, I put your name here. She wants an apartment. So the goal is to rush you out. That's why I say give me 30 days with you, because I got to get you in, and you supposed to already have things prepared. So I have certain folders where people will come in, and it's not to keep them, like married couples, stuff like that. I mean, married people. It's not to hold you long. But now, if you tell me you can afford a certain thing, you got to make sure your money right. Because I'm going to send you over to where you actually now you're out of my hands. You get me? So you're dealing with the real estate investor, right? If your daggone money not right, it's like freak. So this is what I say in Common Sense. Like when they call me, I'm going to send you to them. But if you ain't got your stuff right, that's on you. That's on you. If you telling me, and I'm talking, normally it's the married couples, right? And if you tell me you working, she working, and now I know y'all get some money, but y'all can afford a certain amount, I want to put you in something a little bit cheaper. But if you tell me, nah, we can do this, we can do that, okay. But make sure you got everything straight. And I said, for now, I might have to check bank account. Don't hurt me, Common Sense. I said I might have to make sure they got their money
Steve,
right.
You know what? I'm going to tell you, for your own sanity, you got to incorporate that. If you got working people, then you're going to, and I'm being totally honest, you're going to have to say, you know what, I need 3 months.
Stop! Look, she ain't lying. I'm sorry to be that loud, family. I'm sorry to be that loud, but she ain't lying. Because I want the best for you, and she ain't lying. I'm like,
Because you know what? What I've learned is some people are homeless due to circumstances and situations. Some people are homeless due to bad emotional choices and vices.
That's why you got to sign up first. Look, Common Sense. That's why you got to sign up first for the mental health program. I mean, the mental health provider program. The goal is to help you get everything back in order, everything you saying. Because I started realizing, family, and for me, when I say my 12-step spiritual program, a lot of people have to learn to change their old ways of thinking. You get it? And that could be the way you manage money. That could be the way you handle household stuff. So normally when you get a PRP going to help you put certain things together. But now with my housing program, if you don't know how to wash clothes, we're going to get somebody to teach you how to wash clothes. If you don't know how to make market, we're going to get somebody to teach you how to make market. Even if they want to help you with those daggone cute things. But the goal with me, you come in. Now, I can't observe the women like I used to, so I had to bring women in to work with the women. But the thing is, you got to keep your place clean. When I see your children, I want to see your children looking nice, see your children looking clean. And not only that, we provide service for them to get to school, right? So all of that common sense. Um, but guess what? Thank God. I'm gonna put it like this. I created a group of people where I don't have to be on the front line like I used to.
And that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to, as architects,
Yep.
think about this. The architect makes the design of it.
Come on,
Then
common
he
sense.
brings in draftsmen. Then next, he's going to bring in the brick masons and the carpenters and the plumbers and the electricians to build the structure. You know, he gonna hire some engineers and everything for structural design and composition and stuff, right? So, you know, you got landscapers and stuff. So when what we're really doing is rebuilding individual lives.
That's it.
To make the children have a better
That's
life. And that's why I said what I said about the parents. Right now we have parents, but they're burning the house down with the children in it because the parents don't understand that they need to reskill themselves.
Oh, come on, common sense.
They need to reskill, you know, and I liked when I came in and I heard her say, you know, love. Love is the key to everything in this world. Love is the key. And what we have been reduced down to is this thing of sexual love and not what love really is. Love is caring, love is peaceful, love is kind, you know. Love is joy. Love is having humanity. Love is good stewardship, not only for your own life, but for the next person next to you, right? Come on now.
I know. That's why look. I really love y'all and appreciate y'all because that's why for me, I like to call this real conversation, real life story. And it's not just for our youth, for me, and common sense already saying it. When I did the BMore's Real Teen Talk Show, I said giving our youth a voice. Then it hit me. The parents are the voice for the children. But in order for them to help them, like common sense is saying, if the parents is not right, you're not going to be able to provide.
Steve, I came up with it.
Come on.
Just light up, and even for me, I'm getting ready to give y'all a good. This just came. Okay, it doesn't take a whole lot, but what if y'all do a team rally and have the teams come out? And they can display, you know, may have like 2 or 3 musical acts, poetry, and then have a community dialogue and ask the teams, what do you need or what type of programs would you like to be in our community? What type of resources? Ask the teams. And then And I mean, you can do it to the point where you can start to say, this is what you want to do, and then go get the permit. Ask like the mayors, the city councilmen, and everything to come out. And if there's already a program that the kids identify the resource that they need, then we have somebody to point to.
Damn! Come on.
Let's do it. I'm gonna do it.
I feel like for me, I don't mean look, because I'm looking at the area you in, and I'm listening to you, and did God lay it on you to start some stuff up there, like programs? For me.
Well, I can't sit around and do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to be an action taker. But if you guys know, if y'all like your home, and if you all have a model that I can touch down here, I don't want to create the wheel.
Mm.
If you guys know grassroots, Baltimore, BMore, you guys are about your business. Y'all handle y'all's business. You know what I mean?
That's what I try to explain to people, even though Baltimore have its issues. And I can tell y'all right now personally, it's not as bad as they try to present it. It's not as bad. You can have one area where they might act like a fool, but it makes it seem like it's the whole city. So when I do my lives, come on.
I'm gonna just say this, and as people, go to these places. You got a church. Look and see what that church is doing. If that church ain't got its doors open, you gotta ask them why their doors not open, right? I'm just gonna say this, okay? But then
not open to the youth. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So
you see mom and dad coming up in there, but do y'all have a bus that picks up the kids and make sure the kids is in there? No.
Right. So what I'm saying is, you know what? If you do the teen rally and you hear from the teens what is needed, what type of resources and stuff, because the teens, the one thing I'm gonna say is, young people are really not shy at telling you what's wrong.
I know. I know. And look, I get not being smart common sense, I get kind of disappointed because I love TikTok. Don't get it wrong for what we can do and talk about. But when I go past shows, that's all you see is old people. And I know they got children, I know they got family, but it's like when I say old, I'm just talking about the adults.
I'm gonna tell you something.
Come on.
Right, but you know what? I know that there's an issue with reading right now that we have to address. And my daughter helped one of her friends start a school back during the pandemic. You know what, Steve? Just sitting here talking to y'all, I realized the one thing that I can do, I can read, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm common sense. I was born. My spirit is one of a teacher.
Woo, come on.
And you know what? I'm going to pick a day and say, if you're having any problems with reading, join me on my platform. I don't need to know your name. We're not going to talk. I'm only going to run it. I know that most of the attention span now with youth and adults is only 15 minutes. So if you show up, you did 99% of anything is showing up.
That's right. Come on.
It's showing up. It's really it's showing up. And I think, you know what? I'm willing to teach basic math skills.
See?
And basic reading skills.
See?
You know? And you know what? If I gotta go find me some Dick and Jane books again,
that's right.
I'ma do it.
That's right. Even if you gotta open up your home and let them come over there and you
but you know what? I decided. You know, I live in Texas now, but I remember that they used to have this program, and it's a national program, where if you had a deep freezer, you was in a neighborhood that they deemed, low income or whatever, and the kids could not get to a school, you could sign up for the free lunch program. And only thing that they required you to do is teach a math class or something while the kids were getting their lunch. So you could be teaching etiquette classes. You could teach the kids reading, math, science, social study. You could even be the arts and crafts, okay?
That's right.
But we got to start thinking about being an architect of our own people again.
Exactly. Our own communities. And then we're going to go down to our House senators and our state senators and ask them why they're not supporting us.
Right. And we got to call them out. We have to call these people out.
After we get ourselves in place and set up in our communities and do our rallies, And then we going to Annapolis, and in my case, I'm gonna be going to my county. But I'm gonna need them to start funding my programs for my teens because I'm done.
You know what? And I'm gonna say this. When I used to live in Ohio, I was very active in the church. My niece, she was at ROTC. Well, my niece had got in some trouble in ROTC. I'm former military, right? Army. So I go to the school to see what's going on. But while I'm there to address the issue, I meet the ROT instructor. And he finds, just with our exchange of communication, he said, "You belong to that church?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Well, I've been trying to talk to the pastor." I said, "Talk to him about what?" He said, "I want to bring the program and I want a partnership with the church concerning the youth in the community." Do you know it was my pastor that turned them down? And plus, the federal government was getting ready to give them money, right? This would have stopped the pipeline because I lived in a community at the time where a lot of the young men and women were going to jail or they were becoming parents and not prepared to be parents, okay? So
we went to our churches, but our churches don't support our children. They don't come. They don't come to the single parents. They don't come knocking on the door and say, hey, when, don't you know the church right up the street? When you gonna come to Sunday services? Or are you Zooming? They don't go door to door.
And that's why I said we got to be an architect. And you know what? We got the blueprint, the Bible. The Bible is our blueprint. Before Jesus did anything, he fed the people.
Uh-huh. And our churches need to get back in the community and help us.
Right. He met the need, right? He met the need. And one of the things that the ROTC God wanted to do was to create community gardens where the older people teach the younger people how to garden. Because I'm going to tell you something. One of the main problems why our kids can't read is because the food that they're eating. Mm-hmm. And so I was all gung-ho, but then when I ran to the pastor,
that was a thing.
I was okay. I had met some people because I used to do a women's group. So I was starting to meet women who was attached to men, and one was an AA. They wanted to come in and pay rent in the church to run AA meetings, okay?
And they wouldn't let them in?
They wouldn't let them in, okay?
Are you serious?
I am so serious. It was like God was giving me connections to help his people, and I ran into
a roadblock from that pastor.
It was the pastors, the deacons, and everything, and that's when I realized that everybody that says they love God don't love God's people.
Right.
And so that's what made me create my own women's group. Uh-huh. With no money. I had no money. I was feeding the youth. I say, hey, I pick a Saturday once a month, and I say this is the location, and I tried to move the location all around the city so I could tap into all different type of people. But I did it at the library, so it's free parking, so you only got to worry about anything. So I used the public library because they have free space that you can just go in and sign up for 2-3 hours and do. And I just started bringing other people in to talk about, life insurance. Life insurance. I don't care if you're married, but what if something happens to your husband? Well, what if something happens to you and you got kids?